Yesterday, I said I wasn't part of the Chinese Communist Party, remember? Well, today someone left a comment. So what? You just want to promote Korea as the best country in Asia? Seriously? Why would I waste my time promoting a country that doesn't even pay off? Every time I put the word Korea in a title, the views tank. Let's be honest, none of you really care about Korea. The world's attention is on America and China. Oh, and Japan's bargain basement fire sale thanks to the yen collapse. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But let's talk about the real comedy show, Zelensky's diplomatic world tour. Yes, the man who somehow manages to look like both a wartime president and a late-night talk show host. He went to Korea, Japan, America, 3 stages, 3 reactions. Korea slept, Japan paid, and America? America laughed. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Korea treated Zelensky like a Netflix series on autoplay. You're in the room, but you're not really paying attention. Japan, bless their pure little hearts, took notes like it was Sunday school. And America? Well, America clapped like it was stand-up comedy night in Vegas. This isn't just international politics, it's live theatre, with subtitles badly translated by Google. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll see how Zelensky's tour revealed not just the state of global alliances, but the personality disorders of 3 entire nations. And trust me, you don't want to miss the part where Japan basically volunteers to be the world's ATM. Stay with me. This one's going to sting. So let's start with Korea. Or should I say, the country that somehow manages to press snooze on global politics like it's a Monday morning alarm clock. Zelensky lands in Seoul, gives his usual fire and brimstone speech about freedom, democracy, and Russia being the evil empire. And what do Koreans do? They nod politely, adjust their face masks, and go right back to scrolling on Kakao Talk. This is Korea's specialty, pretending to listen while thinking about fried chicken delivery. Honestly, it's a national skill. If ignoring urgent requests was an Olympic sport, Korea would finally beat Japan at something. Why the cold shoulder? Simple. Zelensky doesn't fit into Korea's national drama. Korea loves a good story. K-pop idols, underdog athletes, chaebol scandals. But a war in Ukraine? That's not binge-watch material. There's no BTS soundtrack, no romance subplot, no cliffhanger ending. Just endless tanks, trenches, and tragedy. Koreans don't do tragedy unless it's packaged as a weekend drama with dramatic piano music. And let's be brutally honest, Zelensky wasn't offering Korea a starring role anyway. He wasn't saying, Korea, lead the free world. He was saying, hey, Korea, can you maybe ship us some artillery shells? That's like asking someone to pay for dinner after you've already eaten half their fries. So Korea did what Korea does best, the diplomatic version of ghosting. A polite handshake, a stiff photo op, and then silence. No commitment, no promises, just a vague statement about supporting international stability. Translation: we'll get back to you never. But don't mistake this for stupidity. Korea knows how to play dead when necessary. While the rest of the world debates morality, Korea calculates survival. They've got North Korea breathing down their neck, China looming over their economy, and America calling them at 3 a.m. like an obsessive ex. The last thing they need is to poke Russia with a stick. So yes, Korea slept through Zelensky's tour, but sometimes sleep is strategy. And in this case, Korea decided it was better to nap than to pay. Now let's move to Japan, the country that thinks diplomacy works exactly like shopping at Don Quixote. When in doubt, just throw money at it. Zelensky arrives in Tokyo, and you could almost hear the sound of credit cards swiping in the background. The Japanese government, desperate to look useful on the world stage, immediately promises billions in aid. Billions! For a war happening thousands of kilometers away. Meanwhile, Japanese pensioners are lining up for half-price sushi at 8 p.m. like it's a life-or-death situation. Why does Japan pay so eagerly? Because Japan has mastered the art of compensating. They don't have a real military. They don't have much political clout. And their prime minister is about as inspiring as a tax accountant reading a weather report. So what do? They open the wallet. It's the national reflex. Someone sneezes in Ukraine, and Japan's already printing another check. And here's the irony. Japan can't even afford this generosity. Their national debt is over 250% of GDP. Basically, buy now, never pay later. The yen is collapsing, the economy is stagnant, and yet Kishida still wants to play Santa Claus in Kiev. You'd think Japan would learn by now that buying friends doesn't make you popular, it just makes you broke. But no, Japan insists on being the world's ATM. Even the way Japanese media covered Zelensky's visit was peak comedy. Anchors nodded solemnly, reporters used words like historic partnership, and commentators said Japan was standing up for democracy. Meanwhile, the average Japanese salaryman was sipping a 7-Eleven canned coffee and muttering, "Democracy doesn't pay my rent." And let's not forget the cultural angle. Japan loves formal gestures, bowing, gift-giving, presenting envelopes. So when Zelensky shows up, Japan treats him like a wedding guest. "Oh, you came all this way. Please accept this monetary gift, small though it may be." Except it's not small. It's billions. Billions that Japan doesn't really have, but pretends to. Because face-saving is worth more than fiscal responsibility. So yes, Korea slept. Japan paid. But the real punchline comes when we look at America, because that's where the whole performance turns into late-night comedy. And then we arrive at the grand finale, America. The land of freedom, fries, and a Pentagon budget so big it could buy Ukraine 10 times over and still have change left for Elon Musk's next vanity rocket. When Zelensky shows up in Washington, it's not politics, it's entertainment. Congress treats him like a special guest star on a TV drama. He walks in wearing his signature olive green sweatshirt, and half of Capitol Hill looks like they're about to ask for an autograph. You can almost hear the laugh track. Americans don't just listen to Zelensky, they perform around him. Standing ovations, dramatic speeches, teary-eyed senators quoting the Bible. It's like Broadway, but with worse acting. Some Republicans roll their eyes, some Democrats clap like seals at feeding time, and CNN frames the whole thing as Churchill 2.0. Except Churchill never had to beg for Patriot missiles on live television. Here's the real twist. America doesn't actually need Zelensky. Ukraine is a side quest in America's bigger game, keeping China in check. Zelensky knows it, Biden knows it, even your average guy eating nachos in Ohio knows it. But America loves a good show, and Zelensky is perfect casting. Charismatic, emotional, and just foreign enough to look exotic without needing subtitles. Of course, behind the applause there's the cold calculation. Will funding Ukraine win votes? Would it scare Russia just enough without pushing them into a nuclear tantrum? Would it look good on Fox News and MSNBC at the same time? If yes, write the check. If no, cue another speech about shared values while quietly moving on to the next crisis. So while Korea slept and Japan paid, America laughed. Not because they don't take Zelensky seriously, but because for America, this is all theatre. Ukraine is Act 2. Act 3 is Taiwan. And the encore? Who knows? Maybe Mars if Elon gets bored. But make no mistake, America's laughter isn't cruelty, it's confidence. Because when you own the stage, everyone else is just auditioning. Picture this. 3 countries, same Zelensky, completely different reactions. It's like watching the same Netflix show but with 3 alternate endings. Korea? They hit skip intro and fell asleep during the pilot episode. Japan? They binge-watched the whole season and maxed out their credit card on the merchandise. America? They didn't even watch seriously. They turned it into a comedy roast with a standing ovation. That's the global split screen of politics right now. Same war, same crisis, but every country projects its own personality disorder onto it. Korea is cautious, Japan is compulsive, America is theatrical. And poor Zelensky? He has to pretend each reaction is exactly what he wanted. That's the hardest acting job of all. This tour revealed something deeper than aid packages or photo ops. It showed the hierarchy of attention in global politics. America still commands the spotlight. Japan pays to stand near it. Korea tries to avoid eye contact like a shy student praying the teacher doesn't call their name. And Zelensky, ever the performer, adapts to whichever stage he's on. It's almost funny. Zelensky can't change his script too much. He sells the same brand everywhere: freedom, democracy, courage. But the audience response is wildly different. It's like telling the same joke in 3 different countries. In one, silence. In another, they tip you. In the third, they laugh even when the punchline makes no sense. And here's the bitter truth: these differences aren't random. They expose how each country defines its role in the world. Korea, survival mode; Japan, approval seeking mode; America, main character syndrome. Together, it makes international politics look less like strategy and more like bad improv theatre. So, yes, Zelensky's tour was historic, but not for the reasons CNN or NHK told you. It wasn't about unity or shared values. It was about watching three countries accidentally show the world who they really are. And trust me, none of them came out looking good. Now let's talk about the bill. Because all theatre, no matter how entertaining, comes with a price tag. And in Zelensky's tour, the receipts are brutal. Korea? They basically paid nothing, unless you count the free hotel rooms, banquet dinners, and a few polite statements that nobody read. Korea slipped out of this performance like someone sneaking out of a group dinner before the check arrived. Classic move. Zero cost, zero commitment, zero regrets. Japan. Oh, Japan paid. They always pay. Billions in aid, promises of infrastructure support, even discussions about expanding defense cooperation. The irony: most Japanese taxpayers don't even know the exact numbers. They just hear support for Ukraine on NHK and shrug, assuming it's pocket change. Except it's not. It's billions pulled from a country where half the young population can't even afford to move out of their parents' apartments. That's not foreign policy, that's fiscal cosplay. And America? America pays the least in proportion, yet acts like the biggest spender. Yes, billions flow from Washington to Kyiv, but compared to the Pentagon's budget, it's like tipping your Uber driver $1. The US can afford it. They're not crying over the check. What America pays isn't money, it's political capital. Every time Biden signs another aid package, half of Congress screams about inflation, while Fox News asks if Zelensky is secretly living in Trump Tower. For America, the real cost is domestic chaos, not foreign aid. Here's the cruel twist: the cost isn't shared equally, but the drama makes it look like everyone's doing their part. That's the illusion. Korea walks away with a clean conscience, Japan burns cash like a pachinko machine, and America claps while passing the bill to future taxpayers. Meanwhile, Zelensky just smiles, bows, and exits stage left. Theatre is fun to watch, but someone always has to pay for the tickets. And right now, it looks like Japan bought the whole front row, Korea sneaked in through the back door, and America owns the theatre outright. So, after all the applause, the checks, the naps, and the photo ops, what did Zelensky's tour actually achieve? Did it stop the war? Did it change the battlefield? No, but it did something just as valuable in politics. It revealed the characters. Korea, the reluctant understudy, kept its lines short and its wallet shut. Their strategy was simple: stay quiet, look polite, and pray the audience forgets you were even on stage. Survival over spotlight. Japan, on the other hand, was the over-eager sidekick. They pulled out the checkbook faster than a dad at Disneyland, hoping that if they bought enough tickets, someone would finally call them a main character. Spoiler, they're still the ATM, not the star. And America? Oh, America reminded everyone who owns the theatre. They didn't just clap, they controlled the script, the lighting, and the popcorn sales. Zelensky got a standing ovation, sure, but only because it fit the American plotline. Tomorrow, the same stage could host Taiwan, Israel, or even TikTok if it sells. This curtain call wasn't about Ukraine, it was about power projection. Who has it, who fakes it, and who rents it by the hour? Korea chose invisibility. Japan bought relevance. America enjoyed the show while holding the spotlight. And poor Zelensky? He's not the playwright, not the director. He's just the actor trying not to get cancelled before the next season. That's the cruel reality of modern diplomacy. Leaders don't negotiate, they audition. So when the curtain fell, the applause wasn't for Ukraine. It was each country clapping for themselves. And maybe that's the darkest joke of all: that in a war where lives are on the line, the world's biggest powers still treat it like Netflix content. Korea skipped, Japan subscribed, and America laughed all the way to the next episode. So there you have it. Korea slept, Japan paid, America laughed, and Zelensky? He just kept acting because what else can he do? That's the tragedy and the comedy of global politics. Nobody's really solving the problem. They're just playing their roles on stage, hoping the audience doesn't notice the script hasn't changed in years. And now, here's the question for you. Who came out looking the worst? Was it Korea for ghosting like a bad Tinder date? Was it Japan for maxing out the credit card just to sit at the grown-ups table? Or was it America for clapping like a drunk uncle at karaoke while pretending they're saving the world? Go ahead, drop your verdict in the comments. Don't just lurk, don't just laugh. Pick a winner or a loser. Because let's be honest, if the world is going to keep treating war like Netflix, we might as well start doing Rotten Tomatoes reviews of diplomacy. And one more thing. Next time you see a headline about Zelensky flying somewhere, don't ask what he got out of it. Ask what they revealed about themselves, because that's the real show. And unlike Hollywood, this script doesn't get rewritten. It just keeps playing on repeat. So tell me below, Korea, Japan, or America, whose performance deserves the Oscar for Best International Comedy?